And now we move on towards the last presentation of the day. We're going to have a quick discussion on AMI implementation in India. And I take the opportunity to invite Mr. JVS Ramakrishna, CTO Smart Cities and Utilities, Larsen and Toubro. Hello, sir.
Hello. I'm audible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're audible. Yeah.
Right. Very good evening, and thank you for giving me the last session of the event opportunity. I know I need to be very crisp, after the heavy loaded the users discussion. So I'll keep it crisp from my side. This is the crux of all the sessions that we have been having. I'm now talking as an implementer on the ground. What is that we have done, and what could be the few learnings taking from implementation, both from the connectivity point of view and from the software implementation and running the software point of view. With this, I'll jump in. My name is JVS Ramakrishna, and I'm head of technology for smart cities and safe cities utilities of L&T Smart World. Today, I'll cover this very briefly in terms of what is L&T Smart World. Let me introduce that. We've been in the market for last almost 6 years now, focusing mostly on the smart cities, safe cities, and digital connectivity. And in the smart cities, utilities is one of the core offerings that we have got into. Again, it was over a period of time, getting the understanding, because most of these technologies are being implemented for public good, across the world. And we currently are partnering with 40+ customers in India. Our focus has been smart cities, safe cities, utilities. And communication, we have a dedicated communication teams working on next generation networks, connectivity, data center, private clouds, cyber security, and also private 5G. And we also do a lot of work on satellite communication, radio communication. This is all what we call as L&T Smart World, which is more of engineering and technology organization. Some of the implementations we have done is more in terms of 25 city command centers and 35,000 cameras. Connecting 25 plus SOCs. We have connected 250+ villages. Here, if you see the 5 million one, we are currently at around 1.3 million. I mean, it was the world's fastest rollout at that point of time. But we are to catch up into the 5 million, and we also do almost 20+ high throughput ground stations for satellite communication. To build this, we have got almost 800 people focused engineering, network, and the software implementation teams working on not only the setting up the solutions, but also more on creating value for the data analytics and the rules, and running on that predictive, and also recommendative analytics that is running on the data for cities, as well as the various services of the cities. We also have been proactively investing into quite a few technologies in our innovation center in Chennai, wherein we test our solutions before scaling up. We have 5G labs that is being set up. We have AI Center of Excellence in Hyderabad, and the radio R&D center in Bangalore. This is the focus area, which actually is relevant to today's session, is the AMI, and also we are working a bit on the energy and grid analytics to our customers, globally. Now let me quickly jump into the AMI market overview. All of you are aware how this whole AMI market is evolved, or it is evolving. As a part of the RDSS scheme, we have got two imperatives, that is AT&C loss reduction and reliability improvement. AT&C loss reduction, again, smart metering and loss reduction initiatives. Various loss reduction initiatives are also being planned, like feeder segregation, etc. But under smart metering, one, the DT level, feeder level, and then the consumer smart metering. And also there is a significant push, though majority has been on the postpaid, there is a push for taking up prepaid, which will help the discoms to reduce the AT&C losses, and on the initiatives on the reliability improvement. But what could be of very important thing to all the partners and who are interested in the Indian market is all about, this is a 25 crore metering opportunity over the period of time. If you see here, almost 5% is already sanctioned, around 4 to 5, around another, I would say that 20% is in the procurement stage, and the balance is there. I would want to say that I think in the last few implementations, there's good amount of maturity that has come in the types of implementation we do, because most of the softwares are actually meant or been working well in a very different conditions compared to the Indian market requirements and demographics. I think thanks to all of our customers and for their continuous hand-holding, we were able to do that. But again, I think the challenge is all about how do we scale to these numbers? How do we keep it simple? As earlier speaker was talking about, to keep the whole functionality simple for the utilities to really manage and achieve the benefits that actually are envisaged. I'll quickly touch upon the current ESL implementation we have done. As a part of the ESL implementation, we have been covering some of the discoms in UP, Haryana, and Delhi. The contract is bit, is a bit complex that way stitched, wherein we have a contract with ESL as nodal agency. We have got IntelliSmart as the PMU. ESL is doing the procurement of the meters. L&T Smartworld is working as AMI implementation partners. The end customer, the agreement of ESL are with the UPPCL and the Haryana discoms, wherein the services are finally rendered to the discoms through ESL by L&T Smartworld. This is the structure in place, more on the ESCO model, wherein ESL was expected to send or is actually doing upfront financial investments in terms of the meters and get the money through discounts on the OPEX model, delivering some of these benefits envisaged. We see here, our scope has been the meter installation, consumer indexing, setting up the network. Of course, here we have been predominantly going for up till now on the GPRS, but we are doing testing on both the other alternate mechanisms of connecting, because GPRS coverage has been a big pain point for us to achieve the required objectives. Again, the other earlier speaker was also talking about the cloud hosted HES and MDM requires good amount of optimization on the infrastructure, cloud infrastructure, as well as on the application for Indian needs. I think that is a third one which we have gone through, and of course the setting up of MDM and MDM integration with some of the legacy systems and run the whole operations center. This has been our scope, but I should tell you that this has been a great program. As far as the smart metering is concerned, it has started delivering the benefits to the discoms. In some places, depending on the maturity of the technology adoption and depending on the state where we are in, the reductions have been in the range of, on existing losses, maybe 10 to 30%. Billing efficiencies have improved, though our customers wanted us to still improve the billing efficiencies. Currently we are around 98%, but that is achieved over a period of time because of the infrastructure that we have in terms of connectivity, the capability in terms of the infrastructure that was planned. But we are somewhere closer to 99% now, though it takes some time. This actually also helped the increase revenues to the discoms. Depending on the type of AT&C losses were actually income. These are some of the stats from the ESL website. So this only says that yes, in spite of all these learnings, there has been significant benefits that are coming out of this particular program to various discoms, and I'm sure over the time to come, I think this will only keep improving with the help of discounts on how do we make it more user-friendly, simpler process, efficient and scalable. That's going to be our focus down the line. Here I should also mention that scalability and interoperability is going to be one of the biggest issue. Why? Because if you see, most of these softwares that were built over a period of time for the countries outside India, they are meant for the type of volumes those discoms operate. So and the type of the meters and the variety of the meters that are in place, the types of the connectivities that are in place. So I think we need to choose the right MDM. One is the HES, obviously, which was discussed before. I think choice of the right MDM is also very, very important. And in Indian projects, we have been talking to various customers or implementing using mostly on Oracle MDMS, primarily on two aspects. One is the scalability of the requirement of what we are looking at, and interoperability with various hidden systems, or the legacy billing systems. And also this metadata system should have a robust VE engine. It should have a good amount of exception management, event management for the scale, because sometimes some of the meters in India even throw to 10 events or alerts in a day. Could be voltage fluctuation, could be power on and off. So I think we need to have a system both on the infrastructure side as well as on the application side, which can deal with that sort of huge volume on the metadata management side. And of course it needs out of the box a lot of reporting, aggregation of the data and reporting, and also quite a lot of custom reports which may or may not be available in the out of box, because the utility operations in India have got a very efficient but very different way of working, so which we need to actually customize a lot on that, sitting on the top of the MDMS. And that particular MDMS should give you provision to really manage that way. That's the reason we have chosen Oracle MDMS over here. On the learning side, I think I want to be very crisp over here. What we have learned, after doing almost 12 lakhs or 13 lakhs meters implementation across these discoms, is that we have learned that we actually should really sit down with the discoms on day one to really check out the requirements beyond the what is there in the contract, because the business processes, though at a broad level, will be similar, but the requirements are very different to one discom to other discom, either on the workflows point of view, legacy systems point of view, or the way they actually look at the whole system. I think that was a big learning for us, that we need to have requirement sign-offs and followed by a proper UAT sign-off. That otherwise what was happening is the requirements do change, because in government normally people do actually move from one place to other place. So there was ongoing changes to the system, which was impacting the implementation time period, as well as the maturity of the solution itself, right? It was always on the move. I think that was the biggest learning for us. Second learning was having any of these critical systems in this, it's extremely important to have local development capability. Without local development capability, most of these products require good amount of customization for the requirements in India, for the type of connectivity or for the type of requirements we have. Unless we have a local development capability, I think the success is going to be very difficult, because of the back and forth communication and the strong contractual obligations that are involved. I think this is another very important decision that we generally have been considering when we go and offer a solution to any of our customers. Third thing is, whichever solution we have, I think we need to have the turnkey solution to have openness for multi-communication modes. Initially, GPRS has been the right model, predominantly in our context, given the coverage and given the scale and numbers. But again, there are many locations wherein we need to look for alternative connectivities as well, depending on the connectivity, last mile connectivity. I think this is something which we need to be continuously working on, to have support both from the meters point of view and from the head-end point of view, to have this multi-communication mode support. The fourth point, we did face some challenge in terms of initially, in terms of consumer awareness, because people would not know what this is all about. Thanks to the help, great support from all our discoms and customers, I think there is a good amount of momentum that is picked up with respect to the consumer awareness. I think this is an ongoing process which is required for us to have a successful installation on the ground to keep this programming moving, and at the same time deliver the benefits to the customers. Last but not the least, I think it's very, very important, this we have noticed, is that most of these head-end systems, they have been supporting, but the scale of what we need, given one discom or multiple discoms, I think we should have a provision to allow multi-vendor head-end systems to really support that scale and also prevent single point of failure. That's very, very, very important, because having one head-end system, or maybe instead of multi-vendor, maybe single vendor, but multiple instances of hidden system in the architecture is very, very important from our perspective. I think to support the type of the scalability that we are looking at, and at the same time, ring fence, should there be any point of failures. I think these are the broad level learnings we had as system integrator and implementations. I am sure a lot much of wisdom is there with our customers for us to really learn in this program and make it a successful program. With this, I think I would like to end my presentation. Being the last one before the valedictory of the event. So thank you very much for this opportunity. And if any questions are there, I'll be happy to answer to the extent.
So questions are directed on your chat.
Sure. I see one question here. What measures are taken to overcome high cost of deploying smart meters? Yes, a lot, because it's been a learning journey for all of us. If you see the whole smart meter deployment cost, one is the meter. I believe good amount of work is happening in terms of optimizing the meter cost over the period of time. I mean, by the customers well. But I can talk more from the perspective of how do we expedite the meter installation, how do we automate some of those things so that the overall cost of a rollout actually comes down. There are quite a amount of measures that are taken by people in the industry as well as L&D Smart World. We actually, we had to create quite a few digital interventions. Could be from the meter installation point of view, could be from consumer indexing point of view. And we also had to do few things which are more of automation in terms of checking the installed meter nameplates, so that we don't wait for the what you call advising. There are no delays advising in terms of manual intervention. And what I should also tell you is that since the stack has been implemented, probably we were the first one to do that in a larger scale. Now we have a stack which can be replicable for multiple discoms with a little bit of customization. So I think the implementation cost, though not very significant in the overall scheme of things, has definitely come down. Number one, meters is like I talked about. I think there's a lot of work happening with the help of industry. Third biggest cost component is the connectivity part, and I think telcos also come forward to really work with us. To reduce the cost, in terms of the overall per meter per month cost. But though still there is a big gap for us to cover the last mile connectivity from the BTS to the meter, where the SLAs are still a big issue, which we are working with the industry. That's where actually cost goes and SLAs go for a toss because of that last mile connectivity. There is another question: how effective is conducting cost and benefit analysis in AMA implementation? I could see some stats in terms of how much revenues have improved and what is the losses that have come down the other way. But I'm sure discoms are really working on measuring this effectiveness on a continuous basis, and that is the reason we are seeing a lot of optimization methods coming in terms of procurement or in terms of implementation. There's one more question here. What are the key advantages of using Oracle MDM? Are they cost effective? See, there are many advantages. I wouldn't want to do a vendor comparison over here, but let me tell you one thing. If we have to go for such large scale implementation, I think scalability, like I was mentioning, is one of the key factors that we do consider. There are few other MDMs which can also scale to that extent. But why we generally have been working with Oracle is the interoperability because of the connectors that are available through gateway with industry hidden systems, so that we don't need to reinvent that wheel. The second most important thing is, of course, skills. There are many products in the market, okay, wherein the technology stack is pretty closed and we are dependent on the vendors. When it comes to Oracle MDM, most of the technology stack is open for us. So we do get skills to really, do the required, customizations or implementation or optimization. Number two. And the third thing is, is for us, we should have the associated products where it is important. For example, if we were to go into Oracle Cloud subsequently, I'll be able to take we'll be able to take the advantage of, the past services at some point of time, which will further probably reduce the overall cost of ownership of such software. I think it is broad level one, and it's been working very well in an Indian context. But is this the most cost effective way? As of now, I think we were able to reinvent some of the prices with the help of Oracle to get to level of per meter per month type of costing as against what we were paying initially. But yeah, I mean, Indian market is always a cost sensitive market. We need to keep working towards multiple such MDM vendors to make it happen. Well, I mean, the hidden systems, we have tried quite a few. I mean, but I would want to say what we have been working currently. We actually have used, Fluent Grid in some places for smaller implementations. For larger implementation, we have used Trilliant, and we are also trying out a few more hidden systems to make sure that the scalability is taken care, and also the technology risk that we may have if we have to have dependency on one stack is what is continuously we are addressing. What are the utilities looking for meter and hidden system MDM separately? Look, I mean, I don't know what are the utilities, but I cannot name the utilities now. But what I can comment is, we have seen utilities of patterns are different based on their experience. Overseas, we have seen a good amount of pattern wherein the meter connectivity hidden system are with one particular party or multiple parties over there, whereas MDM is actually with a different party altogether, so that the field operations are managed end to end by a different set of players than the software side of it. In India, also, I think there are multiple things that are being tried out with various customers depending on their procurement ability or their comfort. So our preferred way, if I were to say that, we would like to see the connectivity, meter, and hidden system done as one particular procurement or interoperability is addressed over there, and have one central core MDM as separate partner, and then encourage more and more meter vendors and connectivity vendors to make sure that the single point of failures are addressed. There's another question here. Can common billing and MDM is the most rational approach? Absolutely. I mean, based on our experience, I think it should be a common billing, which is what actually most of the discoms are doing. When you say common, I'm not sure if you're talking about a common for certain group of discoms, but we have been seeing the trend globally, as well as we've been with various discussions with our customers. I think common billing and MDM is the way to go, rather than creating multiple MDMs and common billing systems. But though there should be, we think there should be option of multiple hidden systems and connectivity players. What MDM would you suggest for a project of 40,000 meters? I mean, it may not be appropriate for me to comment in this particular one, but yes, there are many MDM players who can deal with small scale implementations. Then we may not need to go with a large scalability type of global players, but there are quite a few MDM players which can deal with probably less than 1 lakh, 1.5 lakh, 2 lakh type of meters. I think they can definitely scale up. But if you have a plan of going beyond that, I think we need to look for a different set of scalable MDMs.
So there's one last question for you.
Mhm. Is enhancing customer service key for mass deployment? If I understand correctly, I mean, you're asking me that, we need to make sure that the customer service side of his side is strengthened for mass deployment, Yes, I mean, there are two things. If you see from the customer service point of view, what does a typical utility customer wants? He wants, bill to come on time. He wants the experience in terms of doing payment through multiple channels should be easiest, like what telecom providers have done in the country, and he wants the power to come in if not in seconds but minutes, as soon as he pays. And the broad level is what, and he wants somebody to answer his queries, because this is an essential service wherein the typical lives revolves around it in the current scenario. Yes, absolutely. The customer service is going to be key. Wherein one is the software providers providing the softwares and processes, configuring it. I think the software should solve some of the automation problems and experience problems. But more importantly, I think there's a transformation that is going on. Consumer awareness and customer awareness, really driven by some of the discoms. We really appreciate the way they have adopted this particular program and brought in the system for the people to really address those ground level problems. But yes, definitely customers. At the end of all these things is all about the customer service, isn't it? One is while helping the operators to really get the right benefits of the cost, but without customer experience, I mean, this is of no use. I think we need to do a lot of work on that.
So we have a few more questions for you, but as we are running short of time, so we're going to send you across. So.
Please, thank you very much for listening to me patiently. I mean, I know how difficult it is being the last session of the day, but thank you very much, and I'll be happy to answer any of the follow-up questions on this. Thank you.
Special thanks to Oracle, Qcalis, Subhashri, and Esl. Thank you so much, and also a thank you to all our speakers and audience for being so participative. We are looking for another